Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today, you'll notice I still have my little Christmas decorations. When I came back from Florida, it's winter wonderland outside, and I wanted to keep a little bit of like atmosphere and like joy to my room, and this is not, I mean, it's Christmassy, but it's not too Christmassy. So I will take it down soon, but I just didn't want to take it down right away. So I hope that's okay with everyone. So today I'm here to film basically my eyeshadow collection video. So eyeshadow is my all-time favorite makeup item. It's the thing that I love to play around with most, and it's probably the makeup item that I have the most of. So I thought might as well come on here and share my eyeshadow palette collection with you guys and give you just like a mini brief review on each one and tell you like my thoughts and if I regret it or if I love it and use it all the time. I do not wear eyeshadow every single day in my like day-to-day life. If I'm home studying, I'm pretty much not wearing anything. If I'm going to work, it's like eyeliner and mascara. In school too, sometimes I put a little extra effort, but when I'm just going somewhere, have an event, filming videos, I love to play around with my makeup when I have the time. It's my favorite thing to do, so that's why I have so much of it. I know it's too much, it's way too much. Don't feel like you don't go out and buy all these palettes at all, but if you love makeup as much as I do, then I hope you enjoy this video. So I'm going to start with my smaller palette, which is the Naked 2 Urban Decay Basics. I'm sure you guys are familiar with these. The Naked range from Urban Decay is so popular. I don't have the original Naked Basics palette. I have the, I'll put it this, I have the second one. As you can see, it's a little bit darker, a little bit more taupe tone. I'm not going to swatch every single color out of all of these palettes because this video would turn into like 3 hours long. You guys can search it on Google. I'm sure some swatches if you want to see, more in depth. The Naked Basics 2 palette is really great for either somebody who's starting out in makeup, who doesn't have much experience in eyeshadow and kind of just wants the basics to get started. Either someone younger or just someone who has never really played around with eyeshadow before. But it's honestly just good for anyone. Like, I have all this eyeshadow, but I do reach for this a lot. And if we're gonna wear eyeshadow on, let's say, just to go to work or to school, then I'm definitely not gonna be reaching for one of my big palettes with like a million colors in them. I'm going to be reaching for this because it's quick and easy. I can just throw on one of the highlight shades all over the lid and then one of the darker colors in the crease, and I'm set, I'm out the door. It's quick and easy. And if you're looking for something that sounds like this, the drugstore does have the Maybelline like nude palette or something like that came out, but I've heard very mixed reviews about that, and I think that's like $12 or $15. To be honest, this I think is about $30. I would just go with this because you're guaranteed you're getting good quality shadows for not super expensive, and if you're going to be using this quite frequently, then it's definitely worth it. I definitely would recommend this one. Next, I just have a little trio from Stila, but I thought to throw it in here because for a few years, this was literally all I used for eyeshadow because the pigmentation on these shadows is amazing. They are so creamy and easy to use, blendable. These are just fantastic. Their most famous shade is Kitten, which is this one right here. Then you have a great crease shade, and this is one to darken it up. For a while, I would just wear this all over the lid, this in the crease, and then if I was going somewhere and I wanted to darken it up, I would just throw on a little bit of this on the outer V. These little trios I think are like $18 or something like that. I bought this a few years ago, keep in mind, but really worth it if ever you see one at your it's usually at the checkout in your local Sephora, and if you see one and you like the colors, I would definitely recommend giving it a shot because this is how I was introduced to Stila eyeshadows, and they're really amazing, and Kitten is worth the hype. It's just a perfect all over the lid champagne color, so yeah, really great. This palette here is the Tarte Amazonian, what do you call it? Rainforest After Dark palette. It looks like this. It's a beautiful palette. This one's a little bit more of a combo palette. It has a highlight, a bronzer, and a blush, and 6 beautiful eyeshadows. This palette I was obsessed with when I first got it because it has some great variety on the eyeshadows considering they only put 6 in there. You have some warms, some neutrals, and some cooler toned, and you can pretty much accomplish a lot of different looks with this. And I would recommend this for on the go. I know the Lorac, I'm a huge fan of Lorac, and there was the Lorac Pro To Go palette, which was all the rave a year ago maybe. But I didn't like the eyeshadow colors in that much, and you don't have that many to choose from. In my opinion, this is limited edition, but if you can still find it somewhere online, this is a better on-the-go palette than the Lorac one, just because you have a little bit more choice and variety, and the shadows are still really amazing. Tarte has some really great eyeshadows as well. Move on now to Too Faced. I have this beautiful palette. This is more of like a decoration palette because it's so pretty. It sits on my desk and I just kind of leave it there, but it does have some really pretty eyeshadows as well. I don't tend, and it also has this that slides out with blushes and bronzer and a highlight, which is really also really great, but it's not great for on the go because it is a really big chunky palette, but it's really pretty to just sit on your dresser like mine does. And this really pretty palette. You have some good color choices here, but I don't find myself reaching for this one that much. I don't know if it's because it kind of just sits there and it's bigger and like not as easy to just whip out and use, but it is a really pretty palette. It was limited edition maybe 3 years ago about, but it's a gorgeous palette. Just to like sit on my desk. Maybe I should like put that back there instead of my Christmas stuff. Now I'll move on to my next palette from Too Faced, which is the Chocolate Bar palette. This is worth all of the hype. People have hyped it up. I held off for about a year after this thing came out before I actually bought it. The first thing it smells amazing. That's a given. It's called the Chocolate Bar palette. It actually smells like chocolate. The only thing I'll say to begin is that I hate that this thing, the names are not on the shadows, because it's really annoying and I'm gonna lose this one day, and they're not on the back either, so that is a mistake in my opinion. But the colors make up for it, because the colors are super duper pretty. A little bit more warm toned, I would say, but you definitely have a good variety, a good mix, and I love that they threw in some color. You have this like color here, like a burgundy color, you have this purple, you have a little bit of green tones, golds, pinks, so a good job with the color selection. And again, these shadows are even better than the last Too Faced palette I showed. Great quality shadows, easily blendable. It's worth the hype. I don't find myself reaching for it that much just because Lorac is my all-time favorite. The Lorac the Lorac Pro palettes are my all-time favorites, and I don't know why I don't give my other palettes as much love, but this one it's really pretty and it's a really great value for what you get. So they actually just released the semi-sweet version of this palette, and I do want to get it eventually. I don't know why I'm not as excited as everyone else for these palettes, but I do want to get it eventually. I just recently purchased another eyeshadow palette, so I'm going to hold off for a little bit because I have so many, but if you are looking for like a good starters palette, this has everything you would need for eyeshadow as well. Honestly, most of the ones I have are good starters palette because, I mean, any eyeshadow palette you get is good to start with as long as you have some neutrals and some, a little bit of pops of colors. So now I'm going to move on to Urban Decay. So first Urban Decay I have that I'm going to get out of the way is the Vice palette. It looks like this. There are several editions of the Vice palette, and this, I think, yeah, this is the first one. Now, the colors are really pretty in here. They look, okay, the light, the box is making the light go all weird. Okay, that's a little bit more accurate here. Looks like that. The colors in here are beautiful. I don't know why I never reach for this palette, because every time I open it I get quite excited about it. I'm like, oh my god, why don't I use this? But I don't. To be honest with you, I just don't. I don't know if it's because it's kind of bigger and it kind of just sits on my desk as well in my like folder separator that I hold my palettes in, so it's not as easy to I mean, it's easy to reach. I don't know, I just don't reach for it, and it's really, really pretty, but that's why I have not bought another Vice palette since, just because they're always pretty, but I never reach for that one, so I can't justify buying another one. Next up, I have the Naked palettes. Now, I do not have Naked 1, which is the original Naked palette. I don't know why I want to get it. I don't know why I'm considering buying it now, because I found palettes that I like better than the Naked palettes, to be honest. But I have Naked 2 and 3, and they are beautiful eyeshadow palettes, and Urban Decay has amazing quality eyeshadows, but the problem with this, and the main criticism, is that there are a lot of shimmers and not enough matte. It can make it a little bit harder to use if you have a lot of shimmers. It's a little bit harder to blend. But honestly, the colors are all so pretty. And it comes with a brush, so you're getting a good value out of this as well. I just don't find myself reaching for this as much as my Lorac palettes once again. But they're great palettes, and see, I just tend to get in ruts with my makeup sometimes and I forget to play around with it. So that's why I love, now that I'm filming videos, I do like themed videos. Like I'm like, okay, today I'm going to use my Naked 2 palette. Okay, today I'm going to use my Naked 3. So I finally kind of implement them back into my routine and rediscover them and re-love them, because honestly, I like all of my eyeshadow palettes. I love them because I just love eyeshadow, and they're all really great qualities. The ones that are not so great and that I didn't like so much, I got rid of a long time ago. So the ones that I have, you know that I love them and that they're good. But if I'm being honest, I don't know if I would repurchase this, just because I rarely use them. If I'm reaching for eyeshadow, it's not going to be these palettes. Naked 3. Beautiful palette. Look at this. It's like just absolutely gorgeous. I got it for Christmas last year. Again, if there's one that I regret, it might be this one, because I have used this, I could probably count on my like 2 hands the amount of times I've used this. It's really, really pretty, but I don't have the skin tone to pull off pink tone shadows, I think. Unfortunately, it makes me really sad, because this palette is so beautiful and it was all the rage last year and I got it and I love it, but not on me. So if there's one I regret, it might be this one. That being said, though, I still do use it. I used certain colors here and there. I just don't use that palette alone to create a look because it's too pink. Okay, and next up we have Kat Von D. This is the only eyeshadow palette that I have from Kat Von D, my first, and I got it just recently. I have a tutorial and a review on this palette alone if you do want to check that out. But this palette, it's my first impression of Kat Von D shadows. And let me just tell you, I am impressed. It's all that I've used to do my makeup pretty much since I've gotten it. It's really beautiful, really great. Just, I don't know. It's like totally down my alley. I think this has become one of my new favorite palettes, just because these color shadows are literally my color shadows. Like, if I would have put together a palette, an eyeshadow palette, I would have picked these colors. Like, it's just the me palette. So, love that, good quality. I recommend checking it out. I have a full review, like I said. And finally, the last trio to my palette collection are the Lorac palettes. I have all 3 of the Pro palettes. I have the 1, the 2, and the Mega. I think I've alluded to this in the video already, that I love these palettes. They are my all-time favorite eyeshadow brand and palettes. I held off on getting the original Pro palette for so long. People were obsessing over this on YouTube, and I looked at it and I was like, okay, there's really nothing that special about this palette. I mean, it's pretty, but so are all my other palettes, and I don't know what it is about Lorac that made them go like bam. But they are worth all of the bam that they have gotten, because I got this, just the formula itself, for the price you're paying. I think that's the best part, because a lot of these palettes in Canada are $65, $70, which can be quite expensive. This here, the downside, they're only available in the US, which really sucks. I know, I'm really sorry. But you can find them on Amazon, so that's, I mean, it's not really a problem. Just order them online. $42 for 16 eyeshadows. You have 8 mattes, 8 shimmers, the best quality you're getting for this price, honestly. There is a little bit of fallout because they're so buttery and smooth, but I mean, you can counteract that and just tap off your brush and like put a Kleenex, whatever. But these, when I tried it, I was instantly converted to Lorac shadows. I fell in love with it. And then a few months later, because I only got this maybe like in March, so almost a year ago, in March of last year, and now we're January. But this fall, like approaching the fall, I think it was the fall. No, it was actually this summer, so not long after, they announced the Lorac Pro 2 palette, which looks like this. It's gray, and then the colors in here, when I saw these, I was like, this is my palette, even more than the first one, because the first one's a little bit more warm toned, this is a little bit more cool toned. I was all over it. I had to have it, and I was so excited about it, and I was really hoping that it would measure up to the first one. And for me, I know there's a lot of debate. It depends on what kind of colors you like, I guess. The quality is exactly the same in both palettes. They are consistent. Some people prefer the original, but I prefer the second one because of the colors. And you have some pops of colors in here. Again, Lorac is really, really good at giving you a variety of colors. That's what I've noticed. So I think what makes Lorac eyeshadows the best, in my opinion, is first of all, the affordability. The quality you're getting for the price, pretty much. The fact that the eyeshadows are amazing, like really high-end quality. Like, I would pay way more than I did for this. Like, at least twice as much as I did for what you're actually getting. So it's amazing that they're so affordable. Also, I think Lorac is the best at providing mattes and shimmers. The fact that half of the palette is matte, half is shimmer, really like allows you pretty much all the flexibility in the world. You can create pretty much any look that you would want to because you're given those options. Also, another option that is really great is that they put a few pops of color in every palette. So to me, that really gives, you know, versatility to the palette. It allows you to create looks outside of the neutral zone, but still have the neutrals to kind of make it a wearable, colorful look. So I think that's what sets Lorac apart. Also, so when I saw that, you know, they came out with this giant palette, I had to get my hands on it. Don't hate me, I know I talk about this all the time, and I'm sure a lot of people do as well, and you can't really get your hands on it anymore. They might still have on Amazon if you're lucky, but I don't really think so. This is what it looks like. It's incredible. You have all of these like neutral colors, and then you have actual colors, and then same idea, half are matte, half are shimmery. This palette is perfect to me. It's perfection. It's my all-time favorite eyeshadow palette, and that's saying a lot. I use it all the time. Nothing really can compete with this. I feel like I'm excited when I get new palettes, like for example the Kat Von D one. I'm super excited about this one right now, but I think I'm always going to come back to this one right here. It's my little baby. It's my favorite. Hopefully Lorac will re-release a special edition palette next year. Be on top of your game if they will, because it's going to sell out even faster than this one did. So that's it. That's my eyeshadow collection. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much as always for watching and for all of your support. Please thumbs up the video, share it, check out my social media. I love to engage with you guys. It's really awesome. Thank you so much for all your support. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!